Hey everybody, it's Pastor Scott here at Herndon United Methodist Church, and this is Real Talk. This is our weekly video check-in series that we do where we talk about what's going on inside the walls of the church or outside the walls in our community, maybe what's going on in our lives, give you some ways that we can get connected, especially over the summertime where we may not be able to see each other as much as we'd like to. So as you can see, I am here in my basement, and I had just gotten home from class this afternoon. I've been in class all week down at Wesley Theological Seminary. I'm taking a preaching class this week, and we are going through a gambit of funerals and weddings and the odd holidays. Those are holidays not like Christmas or Easter. We're dealing with I'm doing a sermon on Father's Day and another sermon. I'm either going to do Thanksgiving or Memorial Day. I'm not sure yet, but anyway, it gives you an idea that I'm writing these what we call bullet sermons of 6 to 8 minutes, and being able to put them together and talk about the process that we went through that and share with each other just ideas and thoughts of how we might be able to change things or enhance things. And so it's been a really good class. I've really enjoyed it. I'll talk a little bit more about the class and the professor, but I just wanted to touch on that because as I went through, we're just finishing up doing the funeral section today, and I have to tell you there were a couple of words that really just stuck out with me all week that I kept hearing or kept resonating in my own mind, and those words were hope and faith. And so really faith is what I'm sticking at today. And I started looking at it and I started thinking, well, what does faith mean to everyone? What does faith mean to different people? And so I normally don't go to the dictionary when I'm looking up for exegetical process, but I did go to the dictionary because I really wanted to look at what this meant to be able to help me shape something that I was working on. And faith, it's a noun, at least in these two senses, where it talks about the complete trust or confidence in someone or something. And then it could also be the strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. And the third way is just living our lives in a faithful manner, and that's more of a verb. And so when I think of faith, I think more of a verb. I want to live my life in a way that sets the example for others to be able to see what it means to have faith. And I started going through this, and I was thinking about this during this funeral section, and I was starting to think about some of my own personal experiences. And I'm sure that many of you can relate. Many of you are aware that my aunt passed away a few weeks ago, and while we were sad for her loss, we were also happy that she didn't have to suffer anymore. And the reason we were able to be happy about that is because we have faith. Because we know there's a next for her. Those that have faith know that there's a next, that Jesus died for us and ascended into heaven and is sitting at the right hand of the Father to come and judge the quick and the dead. We know about this. It is what gives us faith. We know that there's a next. So for my Fasta Lisa, and in Danish, Fasta is father's sister. So, but for my aunt Lisa, she lived a great life. She lived to 92 years old, and she was amazing, and we all loved her. And she was always the voice of reason, and always looked out for us. And we just we really miss her. We always talk about having that favorite aunt or favorite uncle, and for me, I have two great aunts, my Fasta Lisa, and then my Aunt Hannah as well. And thankfully, Aunt Hannah is still with us. But Fasta Lisa was such an important piece in our family, and such a matriarch, and living to 92 years old and having this full life. But in her last weeks, days, and hours, she was really suffering health-wise, and so we could take our faith and say that it's okay. We know you're going to a better place. I know that she's having a great reunion right now with my parents and her husband and one of her sons, and that just gives me it just gives me some amazing feelings about just what she might be experiencing right now. I'm really happy for my cousins too, especially my cousin Lisa, who was able to spend those last days and hours and minutes together. And she was by her mother's side when she passed. She was able to have conversations with her all the way to the end and be able to share that she loved her. And I think about that right there, and what a gift that is, that we all don't get to have. I did not get that with either of my parents, and I know that many of you have lost loved ones in difficult circumstances and didn't have that either. And so what helps sustain us is that faith of knowing that there's a next. Well, on the other side of that fence, one of the scenarios we had was to do a funeral for someone that was not a believer, but their family were Christians. And I have to tell you that that's a little difficult, because if you don't have faith, for those people there is no next. They don't believe, and they don't have their faith. What are they looking forward to? We can look forward for them, but what are they looking forward to? And that's, I think about that, and then I start thinking about the responsibility that we have as Christians, as those that are living in our faith, to be good examples for this. Many of you are aware that my nephew, Billy, is going through a very difficult time. He's been diagnosed with ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. There's no known cure. And it's a tough diagnosis, and I was able to go with him when we got the official diagnosis up in Baltimore last month. And I just look back at that time, and I'm thankful I got to be with him. My nephew Billy is a great young man that followed God for a long time, but then strayed away. And my whole purpose in this now is to help him reconnect with God, and also to be able to be prepared and know what next looks like, and to have that faith to understand what it looks like. It's not an easy job. It doesn't matter if I do this for a living, it's still my nephew. My sister's heartbroken. My niece is heartbroken. My other nephew's heartbroken, and it's a difficult time. And Billy's got a 6-year-old boy who's got autism, and it's we hurt for that situation. But through it all, we still have faith, and I have faith knowing that he'll be reunited with his dad, and he'll be reunited with other friends and loved ones and my parents that will welcome him with open arms for that great reunion. And I'm happy that that's going to happen, because without faith, he wouldn't have a next. And so being able to help walk him through that path of reconnecting, I think is an important piece for all of us. So I was talking about this class, and I want to share this book. We have a bunch of books here, but this is a really neat book. This is Reconciliation, Healing, and Hope. These are some selected sermons from the Washington National Cathedral. And my professor this week is Cantor Jan Cope, and there she is. And there are some just amazing sermons in here that talk about hope and talk about faith and talk about the different ways that we can find hope and faith, whether it be because of the pandemic, or because of the pandemic of race relations, or because of the challenges we face as a country with the transfer of power, or just the butting of heads. It doesn't matter which side you're on. We are a country that doesn't see eye to eye in a lot of things, and so there's a lot of hurt going on. And what we can do as Christians is show our faith, to be faithful servants, to be faithful people, to show empathy, to show grace, to allow grace when someone makes a mistake, to be able to extend that grace and extend our own faith as examples for others. We never know what somebody else is going through. The person that you're driving behind tomorrow may have just gone through a horrific situation, may have lost their job, may have gone through something where they've lost a loved one. And we don't know that. All we want them to do is get out of our way so we're not late for where we're going. And I think that sometimes we just need to take a step back and live in our faith. And so I share that with you this week because I think sometimes we use the word faith a little loosely and we don't really take time to think about it. And even though I love the second definition, which says it's a strong belief in God or in the doctrines of religion that are based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. Even though I appreciate that definition, I am more interested in the verb. I need to live my faith. I can't just talk about it. I need to go out and be somebody that's part of that solution. And so with that, I hope that you have a great week. Don't forget, we have Godspell going on this Friday at 7 o'clock in Doe Hall. There's a great performance coming on. We have Sunday service at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. And it's Christmas in July. So I don't know about tacky sweaters and shirts, but there may be something like that going on. But I hope that you all have a great week. And I just want you all to know that we can all keep the faith. And you all are truly loved. May God bless you all.